Hey, so in today's video, I'd like to talk to you about a topic and a lesson that I think a lot of people actually do know, but rarely understand, if not even just put it into use. And that is that people will have different opinions. And the key word here is opinions too, because this is not facts we're talking about. Opinions, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, because there is no 100% wrong and 100% right way. Facts there is. You know, if I say 2 plus 2 is 4 and you say 2 plus 2 is 3, you're wrong. That's the fact. But if you say that 2 plus 2 equals 4 is best found in this formula or this format, and I say it's best done in another one, that's the opinion. So that's what we're talking about. Don't get them confused, because that's a whole different conversation. But we're talking about opinions here. People are going to have different opinions. So, let's get right into the story. Give you a little context and some background and an example. So, just a couple weeks ago, I was having a discussion with my friend. It was on a very heated topic too. And I won't say what it is because I don't want to bring it here. But something happened in the news recently that affects that community and all that stuff. So I went to him because he's part of that community, and I was like, well, what's it all about? I don't understand. So what's it really mean? Because I have certain views, but he has different ones. So I just wanted to see, what's it all mean over there? Because to me, this doesn't look like too much, but to everyone else, it is. So what's it mean? And quickly we found we have polar opposite views, which we have known before. But this was kind of like a tipping point, I guess you could say. Point is, he didn't like what I had to say. Not one bit. I didn't insult him, nor did he insult me. It was a respectful conversation. We just had different views, different opinions, different words, all that stuff. And he didn't like mine. So in turn, he blocked me and didn't speak to me for a week, and said he'd do it at some point. He'd talk to me again in a week or something. And you know, we'll get back to that in a minute, because I'm going to tell you about like how to handle this properly, because this is not proper. In my eyes, this was not a proper way to handle a differing opinion. Because disappearing for a week and just do it, like what? Just disappearing for a week? What will that accomplish? Nothing. You have to discuss things. And if you don't want to discuss it anymore, you say, I don't want to discuss it anymore. You don't disappear for a week. That's improper. But we'll get more into that later. Anyway, fast forward about a week. I think it was a week on the dot, actually. I think I got that right. But fast forward a week. He's ready to speak with me again. And I've done a little homework in this week as well. Done a little homework on this whole topic. I'd like to see if maybe my views would change. If maybe I got something wrong. And like some things changed, but not the overall. It wasn't too much. Either way, that was fine. But as we were talking this next week, I just mentioned that to him, and we kind of both agreed that the best way to get through it would be accepting that we're just going to have different opinions. We just got to agree to disagree. There's no way to get around it. That's just that. But there was one thing that struck me about our conversation, which is that as we were talking about it all, it didn't really fully seem like he considered all this as an opinion-based topic. At least in my eyes. He didn't seem to consider this an opinion-based topic. I say this because at certain points, he would say that I was misguided or misinformed, and I was uneducated, when I could say the exact same thing for him. But I don't. And the point is that this is an opinion-based topic, right? So to be uneducated, it's possible, but I've done my homework, and he knows it, but he still says this. So for me to go on and hear that, it suggests that to him there is a 100% correct and 100% wrong way. Of course, he didn't exactly say that, but it suggests that, no? Because if I don't agree with him, does that just mean I don't know? That's what he's saying, basically. Because if I don't agree with him, I'm uneducated, which means I need to educate myself and then agree with him. So how's that work? That suggests that there's a way that is right and a way that is wrong. But this is an opinion-based topic. This ultimately showed me that he couldn't likely fully accept that we were going to have these differing opinions. And I mean, luckily we're figuring it out now. Like, it's fine. It hasn't really damaged anything too much. I'm ready to forget about this. I don't know if he is exactly, but the point is, nobody's really hurt. Nobody got insulted. Nobody got insulted directly, I'll say, because we weren't spewing insults at each other. To take offense to something is different, because he took offense, but I didn't direct offense. I just said something, he took offense to it, but it didn't come out to be offensive. So nobody ever took direct offense. It was just a conversation that was heated. But it shows me that no matter what, he probably can't fully accept that I'm going to have this polar opposite view. But we'll figure it out. That's a different story with my friendship with him. That's a story I don't even think we need to get into. Point is, it reminded me of this lesson. And it reminded me mostly about how many people forget it, just like he did. Forget that there is opinion-based topics, and people are entitled to their opinion. And to assume that they are misguided, because they can be misguided, but to assume it is different. So, with the story out of the way, let's get into the lesson. There's a couple lessons here, actually, funny enough. It's like an overall thing. But anyway, the overall lesson is we should be able to accept people's differing opinions and handle it properly. Because as we know, these are opinion-based topics. These are not facts. If it's a fact-based topic, that's a different thing. But we're talking opinion-based. So, accept it. People are going to have different views. Accept it. What do you want to do? You just have to accept it. And they have to do the same for you. That's the way it is. And because we don't have to change for people. None of this means that we have to change for anyone. No one does. And you shouldn't make anyone change for you either. Sure, you can have discussions and you can go, well, here's my opinion. What do you think? And here's what I think you should give a try. Maybe watch this video or read this article or do something. Like, you could suggest to them, like, here's my view. Take a look at it. But don't say, my view is right. Yours is wrong. And then just impose everything onto them. That's so wrong. And they shouldn't do the same to you. If that's what they're doing, that's wrong. So, this doesn't mean we have to change for anyone. We just need to acknowledge it and move on in a proper manner. And when I say proper, as we mentioned earlier, that does not mean disappearing for a week and blocking people and calling them misguided. That's not what we're talking about. I think that the best way to go about it, if you really need to take a break, is just say, maybe I need to go on a bit of a break here. I just need to think about this for a bit. Let's just take a break. That doesn't mean block them. That just means message them and say, I think we need a break for a minute. Boom. That's easy. That's polite. That's proper. And then, have a discussion later. Say, I'll talk to you in a few days. I just got to think about this. I'll talk to you in a week. I just got to think about this. Just easy. Be polite about it. Be mature. Because what my friend did was a little bit childish in its own right. Because he could have just said, I didn't like that. He didn't say anything, really. He just left the call. So he could have said, I didn't like that. Let's just take a break and I'll talk to you later. Instead, he had me stressing for a little bit. That I don't even know what really happened. So he just had me stressing for a little bit. So don't do that. It's not proper. That's childish. Don't do that. Anyway. But no matter what, just remember that you need to be able, as a functioning member of society, to take these disagreements and just move on. Because there will be times when conflicts will arise, but there are so many unnecessary ones that could also arise, and it's 100% your choice as to whether or not you'll let them arise. Because let's say, there's an opinion on like a government-based topic. then it's opinion based, and there will be conflicts there. There's nothing we can do about that. There's going to be conflicts. That's the way it's going to have to be. But that doesn't mean you have to take the unnecessary conflicts, like insulting people and going out of your way to like do protests and stuff, like unnecessary protests, like the stupid stuff, insulting people, calling them things, and dragging down their views and opinions, imposing yours. That is unnecessary. Necessary conflicts are, how are we going to deal with this issue? How are we going to get around this? We have different opinions on how to work around it, right? So that is necessary. What isn't necessary is saying, I don't like your opinion. It's wrong. Believe mine. That's wrong. Don't do that. We are functioning members of society, aren't we? So learn to just move on. Just move on and forget about the unnecessary stuff. Furthermore, don't accuse people of things, especially being misguided. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because they could say the exact same thing about you, but that would be preposterous. You'd find that just a giant insult. But why should they feel any different? They don't know how much effort you've put into researching whatever your opinion is. But you don't know how much they put into theirs either. Of course, if there's something that is 100% wrong, like if they bring up some fact, some evidence that is wrong, address it. It's fine. Then you can say, well, that's actually untrue. Simple. But if they have an opinion and it's not a fact and there's not an evidence factor there and there's nothing to disprove and you still just say you're misguided, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Don't let anyone do it to you, and don't do it to people. In the conversation I had with my friend, there were multiple points where we both corrected each other on different topics that we thought we were correct on, but weren't. We were both misguided on a few different things. That didn't mean that I told him that he was misguided on everything. That just means I addressed that's not right. That evidence isn't right. And he did the same for me. This isn't a fact. That was made up, or that isn't it. It's simple. It's simple. Just don't accuse people of being misguided. It's a different thing. Anyway, and on that too, make sure you've done your homework. Because if you don't do your homework on the topic, then come on, man. Come on. Why are you talking about it? Why are you going to talk about it if you've done no homework? You can discuss it and say, I don't know, but here's my initial opinions. But if you're like a patriot of a movement here and you don't know what the hell's going on, that's ridiculous, man. You do some homework. You do some homework. You don't go into that kind of thing like that. You don't do that. Especially on the heated ones. Because like if yours is like, I haven't had pineapple on pizza, but I'm pretty sure it's bad. You don't really, that's nothing. But if yours is like a whole movement on government or something, like my government's good, but I don't really know what they do, that's ridiculous. Do your homework. Come on. Because you got to actually be able to back things up. So there's a lot of lessons here, but the point is, essentially, just make sure that you're able to agree to disagree in a proper, adult, mature manner, and be respectful about it. And if people disrespect you, you gotta be the better person, because, man, what else can we do? On opinion-based topics, everyone's like animals, it's like, you know what I mean. It's just hard. It's hard to find someone who's actually decent on the heated ones. Everyone's like an animal over there. It's crazy. So, just be the better person. Just walk away from it. You're not gonna win an argument that is just a bunch of insults back and forth. That stuff's stupid. Just walk away. That's the time to give up. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this one. I wrote a blog here. You can check it down below. And sorry, something came up, dragged my mind away. Anyway, the blog's going to be down below, so give that a check if you want. It's about 1,000 words, I think, so 5-minute read-ish. I'm getting used to the the presets for like 1,000 words is 5 minutes and all that stuff. It's funny now. But anyway, I hope this helps you a ton. And I have a challenge for you today, which is just take something that you've got some opinion on, some strong opinion on. And I want you to think, have I really looked into the other side of this? Because everything has two sides. Everything. Even facts, funny enough. But opinion-wise, everything has at least two sides. So, for that matter, I want you to look at it and say, or ask yourself, have I looked at the other end of this? And if you haven't, I just want you to get right after it and just look at it for a little. Just a little. See if your opinion changes. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just solidify your views, maybe it'll change them. Either way, it's still good stuff. But just do a little bit of homework. That's what I want you to do today. Just do a little bit of homework on something. Because as we said, you do none of your homework, then you are uneducated and misguided. That's ridiculous. So, do some homework on that stuff. We all did it in school. I'm currently still doing it. You did it before, or maybe are still doing it. So just come on. We already done this. We know how it works. Anyway, try my challenge out, and I hope this helps you a ton. Take care, my friend.